Welcome back, YouTube. Today's video is my show season recap, and I want to share this with you because I needed to first wait a few weeks and let the dust settle after the show, just so I can give you full transparency without being emotionally clouded with how I generally felt. Because I'll be honest, my last show that you will have seen and what happened hurt me bad. It was the first time in my life where I actually broke down in front of my wife, because the way I felt, I almost felt like not only my confidence was taken away from me a little bit, but I felt like my opportunity to display my best this year has been taken away from me. And when you are in a position where your true passion, your life, and your life's work is almost taken away from you, it puts things into perspective. And for me, bodybuilding means a lot. Training means a hell of a lot. It's not just part of my life. It's my identity. It's what I do. It's what I have done since I was a teenager. So almost having that taken away from me, not only mentally destroyed me, but I never felt so low, and I never ever felt that kind of worry, that kind of pain and fear. That's the only way I can describe it. When I felt my bicep pop on stage, I almost passed out. The feeling is almost not possible to describe in words. I felt like my life was just sucked out of me. It's like my stomach dropped and my knees went weak. So I got like a big, almost shock and like an adrenaline rush. And I had to do my individual posing after, knowing full well that my bicep just wasn't right. So going into that show, I definitely think that I made a lot of mistakes in the peak week and weeks leading prior. But one thing I want to be transparent with is when you have something you hold so dear almost taken away from you, it gives you a massive reality check. And it made me realize how much this actually means to me. And it's quite scary, because when I felt like it was temporarily taken away from me because I didn't know the severity of my bicep injury, it was a very hard moment to deal with. And it's not something I ever had to deal with before. And I needed to simply snap out of a negative mindset. And I needed some time to think on how I can actually give you a full, honest recap without just sounding like I'm feeling sorry for myself and without sounding like a sore loser in many ways. And the way I'm looking at this now, guys, is this is an opportunity to test my character. It's an opportunity to build more resilience. It's an opportunity to grow and use it as fuel, not just in a way where I need to learn from the mistakes that I've made that potentially could have caused the injury, but this is a valuable lesson that will allow me to grow as an athlete, as a person, as a coach. I do have other interests, I do have other passions, but no matter what, nothing will ever compare to this. No matter what. So that's the first thing that I need to accept. And what I also have to understand is, now more than ever, I have to protect my ability to be able to continue to do what I love whilst staying healthy, whilst maintaining good connective tissue health, staying injury-free, and most importantly, listening to my biofeedback. Now, a lot of you will be thinking, what has caused the tear? And to a degree, I don't know myself, because I never got hurt in the gym. I got hurt doing a most muscular on stage, which sounds absolutely pathetic. And it really is in hindsight, because I have been training hard, even in the weeks coming up and leading into the show, as you'll have seen on YouTube. And I think a combination of factors that has backfired. If any of you haven't seen my blood work that I posted from 2 weeks out from the show, please give it a watch. CK, for example, is a measure of your muscle damage, and that was extremely high. It would be high in prep anyway, and it would be high from hard training, but mine was exceptionally high. It was like 8,000. So a big lesson going to the show is, one, I definitely think I pushed my training too hard. I should have not only scaled back the training volume even more, but scaled back the training intensity in the final weeks leading up to the show. But another error that I made, and a lot of you watching this that compete will take a valuable lesson from this, is I definitely overposed. In peak week, and this is something I teach all my clients, I always back off from the posing. And when it comes to me doing the things that generally will make me better, but doing the things that are essential, such as backing off, I always find it a lot harder. And this is where I often make the mistakes that I don't let my clients do, and I don't let my clients ever make. Now, I do believe that my stress levels were extremely high for various different reasons, with travel, being in different environments that I'm not comfortable with. I'm very much someone that loves being in my home environment. That definitely played a role. I think lack of sleep certainly played a role. And certainly training too hard within the last few sessions before the show, especially with being stage lean and your connective tissue already being in a compromised position through what we have to do. And by the way, guys, I don't use diuretics. I don't cut water, so it's not that before any of you jump at that. It's just generally what we have to do as bodybuilders, if you know, you know. Will weaken the tendon to a degree. So essentially I needed to pay more attention, and I needed to listen to my own advice. I needed to listen to what I generally teach my clients. Now, speaking to you about my experience, speaking to you about where I'm at mentally, this is now an opportunity for me to just simply get better. The day after the show, I got straight back to work. I contacted the best people in the country, Dr. Ali Nurani, which you've seen from one of the vlogs, Dr. Ansa, who is based in Birmingham, who did my PRP. And I had all the scans, all the tests that I needed to have done the day after I landed. So I took action immediately. Instead of feeling sorry for myself, I did everything possible to start my road to recovery. And it started with actually getting it checked out. And luckily, guys, it was only a partial rupture. It wasn't a full rupture. And it was a tear in my brachialis bicep muscle, which is almost unheard of. The surgeon, Professor Alan Irani, he said he's never actually seen this because my actual bicep tendon, my distal bicep tendon, is in great shape. There's no issues there from all the scans. It's just literally a tear in my brachialis and in my brachialis muscle, which would make sense with the way I hit my most muscular. And it does make sense with me not actually doing that much brachialis work, apart from opposing, where I probably overposed and I probably squeezed too hard on stage. And that is a big lesson that I am paying for, and I had to pay for tremendously. Thank God it wasn't a full rupture, so no surgery needed, and I was able to get into rehab with my bicep work immediately. And this is something now that I'm using as an opportunity to grow and just simply get better. It's essential now that I use this as motivation to become a better athlete, a better coach, and a better person. Sometimes you need a reminder. And that was my reminder to not take things for granted and simply keep pursuing progression, which is the most important thing for me. Going on to the topic of this year's prep, it was by far the best prep I ever did. I landed on stage at 242 pounds, which is around 13 pounds up from a stage weight last year in arguably slightly better condition. This prep was pretty much flawless until the peak week, until the last 3-4 days. And that's something that I have to manage as an athlete better, where I manage my stress levels better and I do the things that I need to do to back off. I take a lot of pride in leading from the front as a coach and as an athlete for my clients and my team. And this certainly can put me in a mindset where I simply can run myself into the ground and not back off when I need to, because I have a point to prove, right? And that has definitely backfired in these shows. And these are all valuable lessons that I have made notes of in my post-show assessment, which I will probably share with you guys. Each year, at the end of my competitive season, week after the show, I always sit down and make notes on what I could have done better and what mistakes I actually made. And I do write them down and I kind of store them like a file. And actually I have files from going back as far as 2020, 2019 preps with the mistakes that I've made. And I tend to not repeat those mistakes. So as you can imagine, the margin for error now is extremely slim, as I probably have made every mistake known to man. So as you can see, guys, from these pictures here, the progress and the step up from last year to this year has been huge. So that is something I can be very proud of. No, I did not place well, remotely well. That's something that's part of the parcel, unfortunately. I'm not at that level yet, and I accept that, and I know that. However, I also understand what I'm capable of, and I also understand my work ethic, my consistency, my discipline that I can take into this year, which will allow me to make progress that is required to be more competitive. The prep felt too easy. So the mistakes that I've made in prep, and that's something I never let my clients do. I have my allocated steps amount, and I haven't had to do cardio since 2017. And that's something I'll share with you now. Just so you fully understand the mindset that I had in this prep. Because the prep felt so easy and I was making such progress, I started to look for ways to make things harder for myself. So instead of taking my allocated rest days and doing my normal step amount that I normally would do outside, which is just light steps, I was quite literally getting on the treadmill and doing 40 minutes walking on a 4% incline, 5.5 kilometers an hour, which is pretty fast. And I am always pretty fit. My resting heart rate is always pretty low, even when I'm heavy in the off season, because I do maintain good fitness levels. So as you can imagine, I can push it hard without it really affecting me. However, what it did affect is my leg fullness and my leg size as I start to come down. And as you can see from these pictures here, guys, at 6 weeks out, I was weighing 249 pounds and my condition was pretty much almost comparable to where it needed to be. And from that point onwards, that is when I started to make things harder for myself instead of managing fatigue and being smarter. So guys, in some cases, when you already know how to work hard and you already are very, very comfortable suffering, more suffering is not going to lead to more results. More suffering is going to lead to worse results, which will then backfire. So you have to understand, scaling back doesn't make you a worse athlete. It makes you a better athlete because you have to do only what's necessary to see the right response and see progression happen. And if I did that, I would have definitely never got injured. If I backed off from a training the way I needed to, I would not see the injury happen, and I would have been able to do the show that was the main show that I was aiming for, which was the France Pro 2 weeks later. And now, because the opportunity has been taken away from me, I now will have to wait over a year and a little bit, a year and a few months to be able to rectify this. This is why I always feel like you need to have urgency when it comes to bodybuilding, because you cannot afford to miss. And when you do miss on a scale like I do, it's not something that you can fix in a matter of weeks. It then takes years. So I have to now wait 13, 14 months now to rectify my mistake and bring what I intended on bringing and better. But again, this is the perspective now that needs to change for me. And this is just an opportunity now to have more time to display a better physique and simply be more competitive, because the reality is, even what I brought this year and what I brought to France, yes, I would have placed better because I know I would have been able to bring a much better package, arguably same fullness, even tighter, for France show. However, it's still not enough to be placing where I want to be placing. So the reality is, I need to get back to work and I simply need to get better. And that's the harsh truth. However, that is also the truth that I am aware of. And I have self-awareness to be able to think about things objectively with no emotional bias and understand that for me to be competitive, I need to be stepping on stage at 245, 250 in way better condition. So I need at least another 7-8 pounds of muscle. And I know I can do that over the next 12 months, 14 months time. So now guys, it's time for off-season week 1 to begin. And I will take you on my off-season journey. I will document every single week. And this is the start of a new chapter with off-season week 1 and the recap of this year. It certainly did not go to plan, but I can hold my head up high knowing that I have made substantial progress in just 1 year. And I still truly believe that I can do better with the lessons I've learned, with what I can implement and what I know I'm capable of. I will do better and I will make even more improvements this year. And I'm going to take you on a journey with me to show you that and hopefully not only inspire you to do the same, but inspire you to use any adversity you are faced with as fuel, because that's what I have to do. If I wasn't to do that right now, it would destroy me. And if I allow it to, guess what, guys? I'm not stepping forward. I'm not making progress. I'm not going to be a great athlete or the coach that I want to be if I let negativity consume me. So instead, I use the negativity as fuel and turn it into something positive. That's the only choice we have. We cannot undo anything negative that happens to us. But what we can do is take action that will lead to you simply becoming better and making progress, which is what it's all about. This year's experience, this year's off-season, this year's prep has given me so much valuable data to become a better athlete, a better coach, and a better person. No matter how good you think you can do, no matter how good your execution is, no matter how good your mindset is, no matter how good your routine is, guess what, guys? There is always room for improvement. There is always ways you can find to develop and get better. And that's exactly what I'm going to do this year. All of the feelings that I experienced, all of the fear, the anger that I had with myself, it's all getting used as positive fuel. And it's all getting used as energy to work harder, keep improving, and keep doing better. Guys, thank you all for your support. And let's get this off-season underway. Luckily, bicep is almost fully healed. Thank you to joining Trained by JP Subs, code Kuba 10. You know the drill. I actually, top tip, guys, double up when you join in and Cure Coming and Osteo Pro. Your joints will feel incredible. So time to get growing, time to get moving. Off-season week 1, time to make progress. I'll take you on a journey and we can do this together. Guys, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, click the notification button and look out for content coming your way. Peace out.